I'm Miguel Rojo. I want to talk to you. I'm Miguel. I hear you're hiring on men. Well, I might just be available. I gotta tell you before you hire me. I don't work cheap. Get 3 coffins ready. Huh?
Adios, amigo. Listen, stranger. Did you get the idea? We don't like to see bad boys like you in town. Go get your mule. You let him get away from you?
You see, that's what I want to talk to you about. He's feeling real bad.
Huh?
My mule. You see, he got all riled up when you men fired those shots at his feet.
Hey, you making some kind of joke?
No. You see, I understand you men were just playing around, but the mule, he just doesn't get it. Of course, if you were to all apologize. I don't think it's nice you laughing. You see, my mule don't like people laughing. It's the crazy idea you're laughing at him. Now, if you apologize like I know you're going to, I might convince him that you really didn't mean it.
I saw the whole thing. You killed all 4 of them. You'll pay all right. You'll be strung up.
Who the hell are you?
Who are you?
Don't fire a shot. I'm John Baxter, sheriff.
Yeah. Well, if you're the sheriff, you better get these men underground. My mistake. Work often.
Sorry, the camera's so slow. We'll get there. One step at a time. I'm trying to open the camera. It's just, there we go. The black circle of death. The Apple circle of death. All right, here we are. I don't think it's funny. You laughing. Carnegie's painter. All right, so yeah, the fraud does continue. Timotheus. No, it's not 2 mules. That was, I think, for a few dollars more. Could be fistful of dollars, but I think it's a few dollars more. Where he goes up against the Baxters and Rojas. All right. Yeah, well, all right, you guys. Well, anyway, things are moving quickly, it seems like, in the MMTLP world. It looks like Don Fizz is doing a great job. I don't know what's happening on the Hill tomorrow, but if it's an open hearing, I might try to go and just sit there. Exactly, no dividend questions. I need a sales assistant to answer the questions on dividends. Oh, hang on, let me give you Molly and then get off the phone. On ZJYL, I'm more of a fat finger chartist, but this is how I see it. I see an upside down head and shoulders, but I also see this pattern here. And I think once we break through some number there, it's very hard to tell. I'm going to guess 300 would be it because it's such a round number. But it might be 305. Who knows? But once we break through there, look, boom, 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 boom. Now you could argue this was one attempt, two attempt, three attempt, or you could say 1, 2, next time is 3, or the next time is the fourth attempt. But whatever it is, I think 300 becomes support pretty soon. It's running out of time here. They're hoping it'll break down, but it doesn't feel like it's going to break down. It feels like it's about to break through. Then 300 becomes support, and who knows how high it goes. That's ZJYL. And I mentioned MMTLP. Oh, I want to text Ham to tell him I'm live, but I think he might be tied up. But anyway, we'll get him on because he's the draw. And then I know he goes live with Ace and with Richard Hoffman and with I don't know, maybe that's just it. But anyway, I know he's the draw when he can come on. Yeah, ZJYL has hit 300 today, Felix. Alderete. That's a nice name. I'm not pronouncing it, but that's a nice name. Let's get some of the scores around the league. 299.95. Are you out of your mind? 299.99. All right, are you out of your mind? I think that used to be a slogan on one of those TV shows when the things were for sale. So you're right. The ask is 300. It went as high as 307.98. And Felix, that's the problem. I can't tell on this chart if those highs are around 305, 310, 307. Can't tell. So it didn't necessarily break through yet, but it wants to. So ZJYL, 10,510 shares, 299.95. Why does it trade with a 0.95? It's all fraud. Logic has traded 672 shares. It's at 0.028. Very interesting. GDC, 207.58. 205 by 208, up 0.04, 20,000 shares. That's GDC. I know you guys don't want to hear it. This will be the only time I mention it. No, I'm not going to mention it at all because there's there's irrelevant volume. GTII 0.233, 0.232 by 0.233. FNGR 2.30, 2.31. That's interesting. That one's still here. CCTG. It's under 4 smackers. So I guess that IPO deal is busted. I wouldn't. If your money is fast, I'd be out of that one. It had a bounce back, but now it looks like shit. Over time, they may be able to get it up. I mean, in the next 2 or 3 weeks, a month. But anyway, don't know much about the stock. All right, so I want to get one more quote on ZJYL 299.95. Hey Ed, you're a cool bird. I'm looking for a cool change. Yeah. All right, I texted Ham. We'll see if he comes on. I wanted, maybe there's some things that we can go over on Twitter. Kristen Shaughnessy is put up, well, that says 4 hours ago. All right, Pedro Philly. That's a good point. Pedro Philly says, someone who speaks to Ralph Norman should tell him there's another approach to getting the true short in MMTLP. Focus on the long side. That makes sense. Don Fizz, I am in Washington. If you'd like to have a meeting with me, pick any day this week. Ham, stock settlement doesn't exist in the US of A. Syntax, queen of the metaverse. There it is. And this is what you know from listening to this chunk of coal. John Berta retweeted Syntax Queen of the Metaverse's video, and he says, I agree 100% with her. MMTLP would never have been a thing if there were no shorts carried over at the record date for the Series A preferred. Yep. Rare DD, I just signed up with him, Perry Dyson. He's good. There, I love it. I love it. I love it. I love this point. Robert Cook, the CEO of FINRA, thought employees were in danger due to threats after the MMTLP halt. All the while, on his watch, they withheld info about a fraud investigation, which likely began to uncover the true reason why they halted MMTLP. What a POS he is. Chris Lecoisier has put out a last call boarding the train on CAUD. He didn't copy me, so I didn't see it till just now. All right, and then stock alerts. ZJYL, when she breaks 300, she's on her way to 500 plus, in my opinion. I don't know if you heard it here first, but I couldn't agree with him more. 550s right here. I think it's going much higher. One way to do it is the duration the duration of this rise, you know, this sideways move, or the duration of this rise, you put it on top here. You know, I'm not as specific as Arca. He's a genius at this. But to me, whatever length of time you put vertical here, it's going a lot higher than $500 after it breaks out. I would guess it'll go 1,500, 2,000 before you can say why isn't Ham calling in? We're tired of listening to this guy. Oh, that's interesting. Oh, on the 14th. George Palikaros is tweets have been retweeted. All right, I'm almost done. Almost done. Just seeing if there's any. Here's Busy Brands. He put out, this is your Monday morning reminder that you can handle whatever this week throws at you. I reached out to Gerald Salente and asked him if he would do an interview with me. That's punching above my weight, but I met him when he was one of several headliners at a peace rally here in DC several months ago. I'd say 7 months ago. Anyway, I met him there, and I've followed him for years. I've probably followed him for 17 years, something like that. Anyway, he says here, CNN staff say network's pro-Israeli slant amounts to journalistic malpractice. There is only one side to the Gaza genocide, the Israeli side. Journalism is dead in the United States. Last count I heard, 30,000 civilians killed in Gaza. Half of them are children. Half are children. You have to say a prayer for the children. We can all agree on that. Richard Hoffman has some real really good posts lately. He says when he was in law school, his real property professor said the top half of the class will do well as lawyers. The bottom half will become judges. Curtis said something. Curtis says at Bleed Blue, we've reached the next critical milestone. Everyone takes the chance to relax. Take the chance to relax, recharge your batteries, and enjoy Sunday. No. All right. All right. I'm excited by this. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. Tweets, the legacy media is in shambles because we've caught on to their lies and propaganda. Tucker Carlson has every right to interview Putin. This is the eldest son of one of the greatest politicians in the history of the United States. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is the son. We need more transparency instead of less. It used to be understood journalists would interview world leaders, even those with whom we were at war. All right, I'll stop there and let's just see what some of your questions are. I'll start at the bottom. Not being a pessimist, well, with a name like Granite, I can't tell, is Granite a pessimistic name or a positive name? All I know is it's age old. Granite is been through it all, seen it all, lived through it all. Oh, there. All right, I see. I didn't see your full point, Michael. I own 78 shares of ZJYL. What's going to force them to cover, even if they're down to 100 million shares? They haven't done an MMTL Finger or GTI along with others. Well, I'd say, Michael, nothing's going to force them to cover. Nothing. But I only own 17 shares, by the way. I'm jealous of your 78. But if you extend this chart out further, that when it went public, I think in the beginning of last year, it was around $7. It ran up and then it pulled back. And according to Ham, I don't know where he gets his information, but I think it's good information. He gets good information. The shorts have an average price, Michael, of $20, roughly $20 a share. And they shorted 10 million non-existent shares, 10 million. You've got 1.3 million shares in the float. A handful of guys own that 1.3 million shares, and they're not selling. You've got IBKR lying about how many shares they can lend out. Why do I know that? Because those handful of guys asked for 500,000, 500,000 shares to be delivered in their name. In other words, taken out a street name. And it was with IBKR, and IBKR said we can't do it. Well, if they have that many shares to loan out, they can do it. They can't do it. So there's something fishy at IBKR. There's, I don't know, 7 or 8 million shares outstanding. It's another piece of shit company, like all these companies that squeeze when you look at their business. But 80% of the outstanding shares are held by insiders. They're not selling. So, Michael, if you paid something less than this, sell. Let's say your average price is 100. I don't know what your average price is. Why don't you sell a third of it, take your money out and trade for free? And then you don't have to be negative. But my answer to your question, Michael, is that price is what's going to do it. If Ham's correct, they're down right now $280 a share on 10 million shares. They're doing everything they do to scramble it, to scare it, to keep it down. But at some point, and I think it'll be through that 300, the prime brokers are going to just buy them in. And you're right. It hasn't happened in MMTLP because Jessica Hopper, I think she was the one, put in a trading halt. I think that was a fraudulent thing. With Finger and GTI both, a year ago, I think there was a squeeze going on in both of them. But then, Michael, as a group, we decided to listen to Frank Benedetto, who didn't know jack shit about squeezes. He said that changing the name of Cosmo crap to Cosmo shit is going to make it squeeze. Changing the CUSIP of Cosmo is going to make it squeeze. that they had 2,000% shares short, and so it was going to squeeze. And then Lou came out and said the CEO of GTI won't talk to him, but the CEO at COSM assures him they're going to go on upstream. And then they said they're not going to do any reverse split, and they're not going to do a deal with the shorts. It was all another sting operation to suck suckers in. And that company took 35 million out of the market. My opinion, Michael, I don't agree with you. I think Finger and GTII both were squeezing. Money was put in, buying out somebody. In defense of Frank Benedetto, I listened to a space call at that time, and he was pissed. He was really pissed off that the CEO, George, whatever Greek last name, of Cosmo, who took advantage of everybody, did a deal with the shorts at 1/3 of the high price, approximately, and killed the squeeze in COSM, much less killing the squeeze in GTII and Finger. Then you had Roger Rabbit come in. You have that ever gullible CEO of CRTD, just totally misunderstanding what's going on. But he's so intellectually smart, he thinks he can't see what's right in front of his nose. So anyway, I don't agree with you. I think those were about to go, but you are right, Michael. Squeezes are a rare thing. They only happen over about a 1 to 2 week period, maybe a little bit longer. And a stock trades forever. Look at AMC, GME. They have their squeeze. So you sit and wait and wait and wait. It's like the beginning of the movie Casablanca. They wait and wait and wait. So, Michael, I would assume it's not going to squeeze. And I think if your attitude is it's not going to squeeze, just sell it. You've got a profit. Get the hell out. Buy one of the 7 sweetheart stocks that everyone else is buying. I got to get the name of it. There's also ETF that has a 9% yield. That might be somewhere for you to go, and then you can sleep at night. I'm really intrigued with energy stocks. This INDO that I sat in on their presentation intrigued me. I don't know a lot about it. Ring Energy, I sat on their presentation. It's excellent. I think the HNRA, which is Pogo Producing at $2, that's a great energy investment. So I think you can find other things, Michael. You can also go buy physical silver, turn off your computer, stop waiting for a short squeeze, and just get on about your life, because you're 100% correct. The entire system is fraud. The entire system is rigged against you. The entire system is set up to protect the criminals, like the arrogant, smug Seth Kramer, who walked the halls of that conference as if he was Lord Flatbush himself. It's stacked against you, Michael. So just get out of it. Stop putting yourself under pressure. Just get out of the stock. Stay out of it. Now, my answer directly to your question is price. Price is what's going to make them squeeze. And I don't think there's going to be any Frank Benedetto or Lou Bravo or whatever the hell the name of the CEO of Cosmo is coming in to distract people out of this. Why? Because I don't think the shares we own make one bit of difference. This is going to squeeze because there's 10 million shares short, and we don't have anything to do with it. I own 17 shares. You own 78. We're ticks on the back of an elephant. It really doesn't matter what we do. It did matter what we did in GTII and Finger, and then the criminals, in the case of Finger, they sold 100 million shares in 10 days, trading days. In GTII, the Kramers were down over $1 billion. I'm sure they paid somebody off, because then the selling began anew in GTII. So anyway, that's my answer to your question. No, I know you're not being negative. I don't mind negativity. I just the only thing I mind are bullies. I do mind fudsters, but also I mind it when people don't have any reason that they're backing it up. Look, I could be wrong, Michael, and I know you're not negative. I know you're not negative. And I think it's a good question. Stock after stock after stock after stock doesn't squeeze. And the real definition of a squeeze is you catch them by surprise. And I don't think there's any surprise in AMC and GME. And I'm starting to wonder if there's a surprise in GTII. I think we can cause one. And I think but each play tells you what's going on as you go. Finger, I just think there's a lot coming, a lot of news coming. If I had to guess, you're going to see 6 press releases over the next 6 weeks. How's that? I don't know. I made both numbers up, but that's the kind of flow of information I expect over the next month or so in Finger. And who knows what happens. Anyway, let me read what you said. Yeah, Michael, I appreciate that you're here and you let me respond as I feel, not necessarily politically correct or what's that word? Narratively correct. Wow. Alpine getting the Axe week. That would be massive. Etch Bowski. Is that movie, Big Jake or whatever it's called? Can't remember the name of that movie. But anyway, that would be amazing. That would be amazing. Yeah, I had a weekend, but what's grrr? Yeah, the Big Lebowski, that one. All right, now I'm going to go to the top and come back down since I started at the bottom. Hi, Mr. Lamar. Hey, Ruby. Ruby, don't take your guns to town. Red Pepper, Mad Gun, Carnegie's Painter. It's a big place to paint. Hey, Timothy's. Oh, there's going to be some football, I guess. Hey, boy. Not that I know anything about it. ZJYL last trade 280, 12,830. Carajito. My computer. I'm sorry. I'm trying to click you, Scott. There it goes. Oh, Ruby, don't take your guns to town. It wasn't me who started that old crazy Asian war. I was proud to do my patriotic chore. Hey, Candy. Thank you for the other day, Candy. It was awfully nice of you. Hey, Henry. Heath. Darren Collins. Good morning, Vietnam. I like that enabler in chief. He looks good without a tie. In fact, he looks good without a suit. Maybe it's time to wear orange stripes. Hey, Charlie. Think it's funny? You laughing? Inken. David, Eddie Eagle. Good day, everyone. Well, all right, you guys. Young guy like you is going to make a lot of money. Hey, Armand. Hey, Lee. We already addressed that. I wonder if NSS broker IBKR could collapse. Well, see, that's actually an interesting question. How much would it cost? Out of the 10 million shares short, if we assume that's true, do you believe all of it's at IBKR? I don't know. Let's say 60% is at IBKR. So you got 6 million shares. And let's say it went to, they're saying 30,000 a share. Let's just say it went to 25,000. That's a lot of squid. $150 billion. I don't know if they'd collapse, but it wouldn't be very pretty. And remember though, GTIII is if a lot of the longs are in, hold their accounts at IBKR, the prime broker side would be in trouble, but maybe IBKR would have a lot of money under management and it would give them time to slowly but surely make some of that money back. Thank you, Anthony. 305. Let's see where it is right now. $280. Hey, Phil. Felix, we already talked. Nan Zadok. Is that early attic, late basement? Are you being a jerk, Cool Bird? That you're number one, you're misquoting me. I didn't say that. And I don't care to explain myself. If you don't like what I'm talking about, just get off the thing. But I have no control over fraud. I have no control over prices. But for those people who are in the stock, I'll explain. This line is somewhere at 290, 300, 305, somewhere. The stock initially went all the way up to 550, broke back down. Now it's trying to get through this line. I don't know what this chart's not very, the numbers aren't iterated very well, the lines, but this is once or twice. This is once or twice. So you can count this as an attempt to break through 300 once, twice, thrice, quattro. And now it's trying for the fifth time. Or you could say this is all once. This is all, I don't know. I don't know if I'd do that. This might be once, twice, three, and this is the fourth time. That might be how to read it. But Cool Bird, what I did say is once it breaks through this 300 or 290 or 305, I think not only does it hit these highs, I think it just soars. But Cool Bird, if you're short, good luck. I wish you and your compadres best of luck in prison. Fidelity has restricted my account because of a huge loss in finger price to close only. That's interesting. They're trying to protect themselves against a lawsuit from you. But they don't close their prime brokerage side. Hey, good morning, Jennifer. Lucky, he's asleep, but he's doing well for an old guy. Good morning. Hey, US 1 Tahoe. There's another guy that knows how to read a chart. Listen to him if you're privileged enough to get his input. Yeah, Miles, another day is more bullshit. That's true. Thanks to me. Moose. Oh, Moose. Moose. Moose deserves a big hug. What time would the split happen? End of day, pre-market, or market open? I think, Ramon, it has to be announced. The vote has to be announced first. And as far as I can tell, that vote has not been announced. I think it was filed, but I don't think there's a press release. Who knows? Maybe the filing is enough. In my experience, it won't happen during the day. And it'll probably be the case that your question's interesting. Could it trade after the market? After market trading, could it suddenly switch? I'm going to say, Ramon, the most likely thing is it would be next day. So let's say they decided, remember, only one director has to decide when. Let's say it opens tomorrow, split. It'll be pre-market during the day and after market tomorrow at what, 1475? I know Cougar Fields, they know that too. And that's why I think Granite is partially correct in his skepticism. I think in this case, there's a lot of ingredients that a squeeze can happen, but none of them are guarantees. They're all speculative, and they're all punts, as they would say across the Atlantic. I know it would be amazing I really recommend him to everybody. Hey, Mark. Hey, Rob. Yeah, it's sort of early, isn't it? But I didn't realize how early. I got up early and I got a lot done. And maybe I came on too early, huh? 23andMe has been identified as being killed by Schwartz. Unbelievable. They don't care. They're relentless. Cool Bird is that guy, and he has made me pro-choice. What do you mean? You wish his mother had made a different decision? It's not very nice. I'm the town crier. I don't know what I am. I don't know if I'm the town crier. I've got to do more to be effective. I was talking with someone last night who works very hard on all this, and I just want to be effective. That's all. And I think Rich Fizz is pushing through the end zone. You know, but Mike, one thing I would point out is Ham went down through Congress at least 3 times. How do I know? I was with him. And he went into office after office after office. So and there were others that went down. There's 2 guys, I'm not sure they allow me to use their name, but they've gone down so many times. Anna has gone down. Syntax has gone down. LT has gone down. And Rowena and Sada Aman was there one trip. I mean, it's amazing how, and others, Patrick, who I didn't get a chance to meet, Kim, who I did, and a Kim who I didn't get a chance to meet. It's just incredible amount of effort going in, and there's no question Don is like Riggins. You hand him the ball and he keeps pushing forward. Of course, Riggins woke up underneath the dining room table when Justice, she was from Arizona. She died. I forget her name right now. I can see her face. I hope I'm not getting Alzheimer's. Justice, and she was Reagan's appointee. Sandy. Riggins woke up underneath the table and says, "How's it going, Sandy, baby?" Sandra Day O'Connor. Wow, up 150%. Well, I'm up basically, I guess I'm up, if it trades at 300, I'm up 200%. That's pretty good, huh? But I haven't gotten out. Trump Kennedy is the winning ticket. Yeah, I would think so, but I don't think Trump will pick Kennedy because Kennedy has the capability of stealing the limelight. The reason I thought Trump was going to beat Hillary way back when, and I actually stated it before most people did, even when everyone was saying Hillary was going to win. One, I traveled a lot in the country, and I never saw a Hillary sign. I'm talking about Kentucky, Texas, Pennsylvania, Virginia, Colorado, Oklahoma, Florida. I never saw a Hillary sign. But more than that, the thing Trump has, I suppose, is what Reagan had, which is a mastery of the television. JFK first got lucky with it because of his, the camera loved him and his own skill and charm. But then Reagan played that to win big time. And then I think that's why Trump got much more many more votes than Hillary could cheat. And that's why when she got drunk on election day, she ended up surprised that she had lost. They thought they had cheated enough. But his skill with the television, amazing. He's a carny. And anyway, I don't think he would have Kennedy, because I think Kennedy also has some of his uncle and his father's skills with the television. That's just and the two dimensions of YouTube. So I don't think he'll pick him, but I think that would Jeff, if Trump's elected, and I don't think they're going to let him be, but if he is, what they successfully did, or what the electorate did in the fairest election that ever existed, the most transparent, they separated his terms. So he wasn't able to appoint another Supreme Court justice. All of his policies got unwound. So it's going to take time to get them back in place. And frankly, we're now in 3 wars. Well, 2, with the possibility of a third. So it's going to be hard for him to have the same impact in a second term. So what's important, Jeff, I think, is his vice presidential nominee. And I think as much as women would love it to be a woman, I think that Billy Bush tape, which has been misrepresented horribly, how many of you would like every single thing you ever stupidly said in your life advertised out into the world? But it's also misrepresented, but let's not focus on it. I don't think Trump has a chance with women. Every woman who's ever been mistreated by men or thinks we live in a patriarchy, thinks men are horrible, they're not gonna change their mind. But I'll tell you one group who is moving over to Trump's brand, which I almost think is a Kennedy brand of politics. Trump's brand of republicanism are African American men, black men. You know why we have to have these terms. I mean, that's black. I don't know anyone that's that color. And that's white. I don't know anyone that's that color. So it's so stupid. But anyway, I think Byron Donalds would be great. Maybe he's too young, but I've seen him, his questions and his point of view are just, he's not a rhino. Tim Scott, I wonder if Tim Scott is a rhino. But I think Byron Donalds would be great. I think Sarah Saunders would be great. Another group who are moving over are Latinos, or are they Hispanics or Latinx or whatever the hell. It gets so complicated, subdividing all of us human beings from each other. The key thing you don't want to be is a white, straight male. I mean, most of us wouldn't want to be a white male that grew up in the hollows of East Kentucky or the coal towns of West Virginia. How many of us who are white would want to be living right now in Ukraine if we were men of age 20 to age 40? I mean, it's so silly judging people on one characteristic. But anyway, that's more of an answer than your comment probably asked for. But I think Byron Donalds would be a brilliant choice. Sarah Saunders would be good, but I don't think she's going to take it. Anna Paulina Luna, I think, would be fantastic, or someone like that. I think she has her own integrity, and she's not a rhino. Some of these others are a little on the crazy side. You don't want crazy. Who else would be a good pick? I don't know. That's my that's my contribution to his picks. I don't think he's going to pick them. We'll see. Anyway. ZJYL is 262, 260 to 295. It's 14,360. It's all fraud. Here's not legal advice. Congratulations on one of your Twitters on Twitter, Roddy. Trying to remember which one. I think it was something about, shoot. It was something about, well, anyway, it was something about the MMTLP response, but I can't quite remember the import of your post. Almost I can. Anyway, you had something like 560 likes. I think that's tremendous. That means you're not legal advice. You're having a huge impact on the outcome of this story. And I don't think people, I think maybe a lot of people do. But I've dealt with a lot of attorneys in my life, and unfortunately, and at some point they turn off because they want to get paid for what information they're doing and advice they're giving. And I think you're truly not legal advice doing this and pursuing this with the best of motives, which is for the benefit of all and for the truth. And I also think, along with someone like Anna, Queen of Trades, and many more, Busy Brands, many more, 100%. You're not going to quit until there are positive results, and that makes you a leader. That makes you a leader. Grr is up. Grr. Grr. That's that tiger, isn't it? It's great. Hey, William Tolbert, thank you very much. I do appreciate compliments, not because I'm FCing, but because I get insecure. So I like some positive feedback, but I'm usually not very good at compliments. I ignore them. But an erstwhile friend told me, you've got to acknowledge compliments. So I'm trying to be better. Oh, GDC. Somebody up there said, well, who cares about GDC? I think GDC. Now let's see the price. 204, 202, 204. I think GDC is the next stock that moves. As somebody here said, he's hearing. I can see his picture, but I can't remember his. It was the big Lebowski guy. Anyway, he said that he's hearing Alpine goes down this week or next. That could tip over the apple cart. But ceteris paribus, I think it's lined up right now, and this is like calling a juvenile Phillies horse race, nobody knows who's going to win. But I think it would go ZJYL first, then GDC, and then possibly Finger, and then GTII if there's a flood of that money. But there's a couple in there that Ham doesn't care about, but I think could move, which are LGIQ, CAUD, and you guys have some names. I'm not remembering them. I'm open to other names too. I'm not a this isn't a limited late night menu. This can be the full Cheesecake Factory menu. But you guys got to help me put items on it. Well, that's true, Ramon. If they're down 200 for every share, and we have to admit, we can never 100% prove anything. It's just what we hear. I agree, must be a big player. And big players do this. Why do they do it, Ramon? They do it because the money's free. It juices their returns. Each individual doing it gets their numbers up on the month and then for the year. So they get huge bonuses and, they're judged on that. But then the companies, the performance they can show to their investors are goosed by this kind, and they never lose. All they have to do is sell, 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 sell. The stock goes up, sell. Everyone must get stoned. I can't remember those words. You should not feel so all alone. I don't know if this would translate. Well, they stone you when you're trying to be so good. Well, they sell you when you're trying to be so good. They sell you just like they said they would. And they'll sell you when you're trying to uplist. And they'll sell you when you're left all alone. But I would not feel all alone. Everyone must be sold. Well, they'll sell you when you're talking on the street. They'll sell you when you're trying to keep your listing, your seat. They'll sell you when you're walking through roadshows, and they'll sell you when you're walking in their door. They'll sell you when you're at their cocktail table, and they'll sell you when you're young as a company and able. They'll sell you when you're trying to make your numbers. They'll sell you, and then they'll say, good luck. Well, they'll sell you and say that it's the end. Then they'll sell you and try to get you to come back again. They'll sell you while you're, I don't know what to do with this one. They'll sell you while you're riding an uplift in your price, and they'll sell you while you're I don't know, playing your guitar. I don't know what to do with that. Well, they'll sell you when you're all alone. They'll sell you when you are walking home. They'll sell you and then say they are brave, and they'll sell you when you're sent down to your grave. Just remember that. That's all they're doing. They just have to sell. Stock goes up, sell. Stock goes down, sell. You take their financing, sell. You have good news, sell. But I would not feel so all alone. Every stock must be sold. Yeah, Ham said it's a dumb movie. Ham said it was a dumb movie. He couldn't finish it. Yeah, you have a great name. I like that, Granite. I hope you have a granite jaw. I think it's a very nice name. Get it? Very nice. Michael Granite, I think your name is very nice. You don't get it. You're not laughing. You don't think it's funny. I got to look up how to spell it because unfortunately, I'm a terrible speller. It's very, there it is. I think your name is very nice. Get it? It's pretty hilarious. I'd have to say it's hilarious on my part to make that joke. Yeah, I had a huge hit from Frommer. Huge hit. I was an idiot to believe. I met him, so I had confidence in him. I think he's a complete idiot. He now is saying on Twitter to somebody, well, you can't blame us. It's happening to all stocks. That guy gave cover to his butt buddy, Jeff Easton. Everything I say is, in my opinion, in some strange sense of comedy, and in my judgment, and in my best knowledge and belief. The whole video, but he said that after his due diligence, he could find no evidence of fraudulent trading. He called me a year ago, maybe. How do you know? Do you have evidence? I said, no, I probably am out ahead of my skis, but you see it in every price of Jeff Easton shares. You know, how many times does your girlfriend have to get calls from different men before you think she might be stepping out on you? You don't have proof, but you have a pretty good indication. I know Cindy Lou who. Who are you? Who are you? You can't say it won't squeeze. I like that. Sounds like Finger is now a 2-year played. That Ham's going to call in 5 minutes. That's not exactly how I describe it, Ronald. I think these prices give you a chance to average down and add to a position. I would say it might be a 2-year play with the potential for a dramatic squeeze in between. But look, with Finger, I think your downside is upside if you wait. How's that? Your downside is upside. I got to look up that ETF. Let me write that down, Daniel. And When Ham comes on, I'll try to find the name. I think it's a Shearson thing, but I'll oh gosh, I'm way behind. Kitties never die. Yeah. I think you're right, Gretchen. I don't think he was being combative. I was just saying, though, I guess what I was saying in my first answer is, I don't know that it's going to squeeze, you know. So if you have a profit, get out. I'm up 200x on my paltry position, but I'm not selling. Why? I think that stock is a beautiful chart pattern. And I know you can't chart fraud. I think it's very nice though. Get it? All right, he could call in at any time. 3 minutes. Yeah, I look, I think we're up against it, everyone. They pull out every trick. They pull out the professors. They pull out Jim Cramer on TV. They infiltrate us. And we run out of energy and money and goodwill. And, you know, we screw. I don't know where the rumor is to read. I doubt it's in writing. I'll ask Cam when he comes on. Hey, Sea Hunter, that's beautiful. I went off of an island in the Bahamas once, and they had strip mined all the coral reefs. It was so depressing. Well, we can all have, you can't prove, Eric. One cannot prove what would have and wouldn't have happened. To give Lou credit, I think maybe Lou was part of the reason the stock took off. So there's no, you know, it's not a laboratory. You can't adjust one item and go prove it. And I don't know if Lou's the problem. I don't know if it's Frank Benedetto. I don't know, but I think those anyway. I don't want to blame anyone. I just, Eric, when people tell me that GTII it didn't happen, it was right there. That's my opinion. It's my opinion. Could be wrong. It was Fidelity was charging 1,000% to borrow stock. 1,000. Wells Fargo took away the buy button. The heat was on. And Eric, what stopped that heat? You can go back in time. Everyone went to COSM. Don't blame Lou. Don't blame Lou. People just thought up out of osmosis. They thought they should go to COSM. It wasn't Lou that said, let's go to COSM. We can come back to GTI later. He didn't say that. Whatever. It's so long ago. I know they're scared of it breaking above 300, in my judgment. As far as I know, Alpine is not getting the axe this week. What is happening is oral argument in FINRA Alpine appeal, which I will do a video, a time life video on later in the week. Ah, there you go. If I could move, I'd get my gun and put her in the ground. No ruby. Yeah, it's weird that my subscribers hasn't gone up. Maybe Not could help me, or Ace is the place. And I saw that Ace had a members only call the other night. I'm not a member, so I couldn't tune in. So I watched a movie. All right, hang on. I got to make sure that the speaker is connected.
Battery 100%. Connected to Bill's iPhone.
All right, hang on. All right, the voice is with us. The audience and the voice are together.
So I'm really not caught up on prices on my way back. But on all the stuff that I'm reading, I mean, this can't go on much longer. I mean, the attack against FINRA and the SEC is going to come to a halt soon, and that will expose the whole system. I do believe that there is law enforcement action coming. I can't tell you when, where, who, what they're going to strike at, but I do believe that there's a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes, and you can't hold me to it because I'm not the law enforcement. But from what I'm hearing, it's close. So as far as that goes, what's going on in China? China is trying to stem the short selling attack for drive stocks to these where their levels are like this in a panic. I've seen this in the crash in '87. I've seen it in 2008. I've seen it all the time when they're throwing stocks out of the window. I remember seeing IBM down 25 points. This one, all those crazy numbers that you're seeing, in China. They turn and they go back the other way just as fast as they go down. All they're trying to do is flush out. The shorts are flushing out investors who panic, who have no idea what's going on. If you're on margin, they attack it. They make you sell it. This is why short selling, and especially naked short selling, is so deadly, because they control the price. There's no price discovery, as William said. What happens in a public company on a day when the market goes down like this? Nothing changes. They're still pumping gas, selling cars, things, nothing changes. It's just the same nonsense all the time. And you know what? As individual investors, it's tough to sit with a loss. I get it. It's not easy. So, again, these are things, but William, in this time in the U.S., the naked short positions have afforded the opportunity where these guys are going to have to cover no matter what. So this whitewashing, these attacks, they run out of steam. GTII, where are they going to keep selling it? What time this goes on? These guys are sitting here, and you have to look at it as an investor from both ways. Would you rather be short, or would you rather be long at the levels they're at now? Because if FINRA gets exposed, and the minute FINRA gets exposed in the SEC on the naked shorting and MMTLP, the world changes. It's not flat anymore, it's round. That's how fast it's going to turn. Because everyone and their mother is going to go run to buy stocks that got big short positions. And that's what's going to happen here. If it was year 2000, I believe that we could have got them then, but obviously I was completely wrong because here it is 24 years later. And after studying this stuff for 24 years, we are as close as we're at the finish line. I think we just got to fall over the line. The regulators are in trouble. The brokerage firms know they have problems, and they're trying to hide these messes. We all know it's going to get exposed. This is for the first time law enforcement owns finger motion and MMTLP. How do I know? They told me. You can mark it down. I'm not making it up. They told me. So they're friends. They're just like us. They're investors. Besides being law enforcement, they are investors. Only this time they're not taking their losses. They know there's been a fraud here. They shut down MMTLP. Finger motion has been attacked. They can see Capybara. They're up to date on all the crimes. So it's very, very, very different. William, I have no idea what happened with ZJYL today. I have no idea.
It punched through 300. It went to 307, and it didn't hold. And now It is 277.50, 262.50
Ultram, 1703.
by
I
sorry.
have no idea what you said. It's only the bid in the
I know I was trying to give you it and a phone call came in and I interrupted my read. 262.50 by 295. Last trade 277.50.
262 closing price or 261, something like that.
262.02. 262.02 was the
So
close.
you can see it's always around that number trying to get it right. It's very important for a short seller, a naked short seller, keep stocks barely in the red so investors think it's going to sell off. That's the trick. All right, you study it, it's always down a little bit from the close. That's their trick. They try to mark it down all the time so it's red. You need that because in your mindset, everyone thinks the stock is going to sell off. That's the mentality of Wall Street. Oh, turn it red, people will panic. That's what they do. So that's something that, I don't know what the volume is or how it's been trading, but I saw this morning before I left, there was no selling. There was no volume. This thing, which they're down $250. Short just 1,000 shares. Being down $250,000 on 1,000 shares. You know, it's just insane. And there's probably some fool that's doing that doesn't know what to do or is going to get blown out. That's the way it goes.
Somebody pointed out it must be a big player to be down $200 a share or whatever it is.
I think there's multiple plays here.
Yeah.
I think there's a string. I think there's a string of maybe 20 or 30 small players that are frozen like deer in the headlights. They don't know what to do. And those are the type of people that move the market to 100 shares, trying to mark it down all the time. Those are the small guys. The big guys are sitting here waiting for a move to try to average up on volume. There's no volume for them to average up. They're just wasting their time. If the stock started trading 100, 200,000 shares up here, then I could say, okay, they're trying to average. They have to bring their average up. There is no activity. The only thing they can do is try to sell it lower and knock it down faster, but it doesn't do anything. It just brings in more buyers. So it's sort of an interesting game.
So maybe it means they're not allowed to, or they don't have enough financial capacity to sell it short here.
Oh yeah, no. Listen, there's definitely someone overlooking this thing, saying, "Hey, you know, if this thing doesn't go down, you got to start covering." That's why the stock is levitating, because some of the 20 or 30 smaller players are trying to cover. You know, the small investors buying the 2s and the 5 shares, it's like torture to them. And that bothers them like crazy, but there's got to be some small players that are trying to cover.
Well, the volume is 15,480,000 today so far.
So when it gets to 150,000 a day, then let me know. Otherwise.
Now the last trade, 259.05. They got the 5 cents.
Okay.
Bid is 250 by 279.99.
So you'll see the bids drop. It's always make the bids drop. So if anybody wants a lesson on making short selling is, the most important thing is if there's no buyers, you make sure you're not bidding and you drop your bid as low as possible. Yeah, I won't be surprised if they make the bid drop again to 240.05, whatever that number is. Make the spread bigger, make people panic. Oh my God, I'm down $30 now. That's their game plan. That's all it is.
I don't know where to direct you. A couple people were asking about GDC. There's a question right in front of me about Alpine. If Alpine moves their concentrated short offshore, the short doesn't exist anymore. The concentrated short.
Do you think the authorities are not looking into what's going to happen here. What do you think Alpine's fighting for? What do you think the fight's about? It's to hide the fraud. What do you think's going on?
Yeah.
And one of the most important things is the document saying they had a concentrated short position. You don't think the lawyers and everybody's looking, saying, okay, where did this go to? You think they're going to have a chance to hide that? No one knows where it went?
Yeah.
The cat's out of the bag. We all know Alpine's the dirty player. Everybody knows. Just shows you how Wall Street, to protect their own ass, is willing to let these criminals, John Hurry, his wife, Kramer's, all these guys who do dirty business, they're protecting them and sitting there saying, screw everybody else. Think about that for a second. We have nothing to do with this crime. What did we do wrong? We bought the stock?
What are your thoughts on GDC?
Where is it?
It was 207. Let me get the bid and ask.
My wife's friend came over. She bought 3,500 on the opening. She paid 211 for it. I think that
Well,
kind of tells you.
200 by 1,200, 203 by 211. Last trade 209.
So my wife's friend stopped over. She says, what stock should I buy? She owns Finger. She owns GT. I said, buy some GDC. She paid 211 on the opening this morning for 3,500 or something like that. I think that gives you my opinion, but I think.
I like it.
Short and sweet. I gave you the answer right out of the gate.
This guy's saying the shorts are playing mind games. They're trapped. Only way out is up.
Is that Richard?
No, Richard's here.
That sounds like Richard talking.
Richard had some good points, and he thinks Alpine is, there's some sort of Alpine hearing, and he's going to have a video on it. But that's what he said. He doesn't think Alpine, somebody said that they think Alpine's going down this week. Richard said, no, it's just a hearing.
It is so unbelievable that these criminals can exist and no one stops it. And think about that, how crazy it is.
Oh, a couple of people have asked, why isn't ZJYL trading as if the forward split happened? And I don't know the answer, but it could come any time now.
Why? Again, why isn't it?
Why is it trading in the hundreds of dollars instead of for $15? The vote passed, so why isn't ZJYL?
They have to probably wait. There's probably some approval by FINRA or somebody like that. I don't know.
Yeah, it'll come. It doesn't really matter.
William, I'll just go quickly. Wall Street, public companies have to operate within a framework of security laws. The criminals just do what the hell they want to do.
Right.
Pretty easy.
I'm looking for other questions.
So ZJL, I just walked in, it was 240. You said now it's 250 bid again. And the offer is 275. So all the short is doing is some sort of cha-cha dance. Drop the bid, move back up, drop the bid. They're enticing you saying, hey, William, sell your 17 shares at 250 now before the bid disappears. That's what they're trying to say. That's what the movement in the trading is telling me. But the movement tells me they're trying to cover. That's the sign of someone trying to cover. Drop the bid, move back up, doing that whole little dance.
This 10 million rumored short in ZJYL, do you think it's all at IBKR or is it spread out?
I think it has to be spread out. In fact, the brokers would have fainted already.
Well, that's what the question was. Do you think this could take IBKR down?
I think it could be, it depends. I think it's living through Interactive Brokers. They're letting some hedge fund do their dirty business to Interactive Brokers. Interactive Brokers is grinding whoever is short with fees to death. That's what the game is. Interactive Brokers will not take the liability for the criminals, but they'll certainly help you rob the bank as long as you pay them the fees all the time.
Yeah. This guy's calling me a true chartologist. I did a chart on ZJYL. Who the hell knows?
And you said it last week, and I remember it. You said, I think if it goes through 310, it's going to go. That was in some stupid thing like that.
Some
right?
stupid number, but
Right.
who
See
knows?
that? I remembered it.
Who knows?
I can't remember everybody's birthdays, but that I remember.
I remember your birthday, and I'd have to look up not legal advice. I know it was the Friday between Christmas and New Year, so that was probably the 27th. I don't know. I have to look it up. 29th, maybe 29th.
That's Richard's birthday.
Richard, yeah.
But that was a shitty day. Rainy, cold.
Doom and gloom. Oh,
Yeah,
there's
doom
a
and gloom, shitty, cold, you name it. That's when the rain started in California, the day Richard's birthday was. It hasn't stopped since.
Did you see the pickleball slam last night?
No, but I did watch, William. I sent you a YouTube video of two tennis pros. One of them is the guy Eisner
He's so tall.
against two women. One, I think the one girl they said was like 16 years old, a pro, and they played at a casino or something like that. And it was just, if anyone wants to Google it, it's fascinating that these two girls destroyed them in the first game, and he's got to be 6'10".
Oh,
And if anybody ever played pickleball, the courts are so small. It looked like he was, it looks like he was standing on a ping pong table. He's so big. But they came back and they beat the girls, and it was a very good match. And it shows you how the girls maybe were 5'5", one was 5'7" against these two big men, and it was, it's a different game. It's amazing. It was very good to watch.
He used to be the most feared tennis serve out there.
Oh, why? Because he's 6'11"?
Yeah, because he's so tall. Yeah.
All right.
But now so many tall players are there.
William, I had a question. A couple of people asked me on Twitter. I'm just trying to clear my head out, get my head around this, what's going on. This China thing, what's the effect on finger motion? Well, finger motion does not build anything in China. The service they provide is cell phones. Think about everyone on this phone call. If the market goes down 1,000 points, is everyone going to turn off their cell phones? What's the only thing you're going to keep in this world, this new world, is what? Your kids, your cell phones. Maybe get rid of your kids, your cell phones.
Well, I told you when I went to Atlantic City, I went up by train, and I had to spend about an hour and 20 minutes in the Philadelphia train station. It's a beautiful building, but the clientele, as they might say, sitting around are all types, and it's pretty depressing. There's some poor people, there's people that stink, there's people that are down on their luck. Anyway, there's others, and then there's me, of course, but all of them were using a phone. Every single one of them was using a phone. The other thing in China is they don't use currency anymore. So they track spending, and it's all done by phone. There's many more things I could say, but finally, we are unique in the world. We pay our cell phone bills monthly. Well, maybe they do that some places in the rest of the world too, but the majority of people top up their minutes. And that's what Finger does in China. So
the question again is, people asking me, how does this China market route affect finger motion?
To me, I would combine two things you said. One is there's a China route. Well, I think it might give you a chance to buy more finger at good prices. Secondly, I agree with you 100%. China's doing everything they can do to halt the slide and turn it around. And I'll tell you what, it'll go green quicker than I can't figure out something quicker than a ball hit off of Ham's pickleball racket going back at KYP. China will go back up very quickly. So
KYP, I reached out to her this week and I called her out, and she's taking care of her mother, so I gave her a pass. I told her she was hiding, but she told me she was taking care of her mom.
she's a sweetheart. She's
I hope her mom is doing well, and when she feels better, you come out and we'll set this straight here.
Yeah, we all hope, if KYP's listening, we all hope your mother is well and that you have strength to go through it. That's tough.
Yep. So again, I wanted to address the finger motion. They have nothing to do with anything. They are a cell phone. They provide data. People still use their phone. If you make a phone call, they get data. That's what they're selling. If you need to pay for your minutes, they make you provide for that. If you want to advertise on the text messaging, the SMS text messaging, you have to pay for it. The world is still advertising. Look at the advertisings and the Super Bowl. So these guys are a provider for small businesses that want to send messages to their customers through the cell phone. You cannot just spam a text message in China. You have to go through Finger Motion or companies like that. The difference I heard from Finger Motion and the other providers that do that in the text messaging, and this is something that I asked a long time ago. From what I gather, if you go to William and Company and you want to get your message approved by the company, by the government, you fill out the forms, you tell them what you're going to say, you submit it to William, William submits it to the government, they stamp it, and then you pay and you get to send out the message. And it's all documented that you're legally allowed to do that. That could take 2 months. With Finger Motion, from what I gathered, I may be wrong, but I don't think so. You could submit it, get the turnaround, and maybe in an hour, 2 hours. It seems like they have a pretty good edge to get that stuff moving quickly versus the other companies. And I can only think of that happening is because they have a good relationship with the government. So there is your leader. And once they start really packing it in, we will see. And remember, they only touch 5% of the cell phone users in China. So they got a long way to go. But Lynn Partners knew that, and they just wanted to destroy it because they're using the producers, the Broadway play business model. You can make more money with a flop than you can make with a hit. That's what they're doing. I've been doing this so long that I remember we talked about that a long time ago. And when I watched it again with Matthew Broderick on the new version of it, I'm like, that's what naked short selling is. It's exactly the same thing. We could sell 1,000% of a play, and everything goes. If it flops, no one's ever going to ask, and it goes to zero. And as far as ZJYL goes, this company is here for one reason: stock settlement. It doesn't exist. This short squeeze is a product of the SEC. And I have no problem speaking about it, discussing it, because I didn't create it. I don't even own a share, but I'm smart enough to understand it and see what's going on, and everyone else can see it. And you know what? You just watch the actions by Interactive Broker, and you know what we're talking about. They're lending shares, it's insane. It goes from 1 million to 200,000, up to 1 million too. The whole thing is insane. But that's them
trying to actually, if you were a short seller like Timothy Sykes, all right, one of those bear raid intraday guys, they go out and they say they want to short the stock. You know, they say, well, let's call up Interactive Brokers. Interactive Brokers will create the stock for you, and you go out there and bash it down. Hopefully, you can steal yourself $20. You know, sell 2,000 shares, knock it down. You make yourself 40 grand if you can sell it, buy it back, right? But it's becoming, it's more and more, every time they do it, it's more and more of a trap. And that's what you're seeing now. It's a complete trap.
Somebody asked, Michael Granite asks, why will ZJYL potentially squeeze? None of the others have. And I mean, it's a fair enough. Everything is.
So here it is, Michael Grant. ZJYL was just 250, 275.
Right.
And we see the stock ticking down. All of a sudden, it goes 250 bid. The 275 seller disappeared. Now it's 285. The jockeying you see here is someone's in a panic. Now, I don't know what time it starts to giddy up, but I'm watching it like you and observing it. But if I wanted to sell my stock at 275, what turned me off that I don't want to sell it anymore? Because this 275 offer was a short seller, and they just tried to offer it, trying to get people to sell on the. Remember, they just dropped all the bids. Remember 2 minutes ago. So
there was no volume, nothing really.
So the offer on the 275 offer was the spoof. They dropped the bids, and they could say, "Okay, guys, that did not work. No one sold any." So they sit there and say, "Well, I don't want to sell any more at 275. I'm going to cancel it. Screw this." And now we got a little stronger position. Now the stock looks like it wants to turn back up again. So let's see what happens. It's just interesting to watch. But these are all little games trying to get you to sell. The same thing in finger motion. It's a little different, but there's no volume. The stock's always down 10 cents, 5 cents. Just imagine. The stock was just 277 a few days ago. All right. And they drove it back down here again. I mean, it's just the mentality. Keep it down, hold it down. That's what they do.
Yeah. God, there was a question and it just went through my head.
One thing, let me just keep yapping. I went through some old posts of some people that had postings. I put up a ton of stuff about GTI, about Alpine and the criminal activities and all their LLCs that they have. Some of the Kramer's LLCs. One of the Kramer's LLC is an address on East 63rd Street. It has to be an apartment on East 63rd. Either that or it's Sloan Kettering. That's what's up on that side. I mean, I'm looking at it saying, okay, anybody wants to follow these characters, they're opening up LLCs. They're running out of names. That's how many they open up. And now they're in Virginia. So, I mean, I can't say anything else. I mean, for Christ's sake, the Alpine, the prime broker, thanks to the little woman at DBMM, she gave it to us. How does the SEC not do anything for 3.5 years when we reported the crime? Think about that. The stock trades as though we were all crazy. And people yelling at me, what am I going to do? Well, listen, if everybody wants to do anything in the GTI crowd, if you want to get together, let's go to DC. I'm willing to come down with you. Get 5 or 6 people. We'll walk the halls and try to do what MMTLP's doing. Other than that, I can't, we went to law enforcement. The SEC knows about it. We put the truck everywhere. GTI's been on the truck for what, 3.5 years, 3 years now? I don't even know how long it's been. And everyone looks at it though we're all crazy. So now the 285 offer, the 275 offer came back, to 275, not 275 anymore, but 275 and 13 cents. So they're communicating through the cents that not the 275 number, it's the 0.13, the 13 cents. That's the communication. Remember, they're not allowed to talk to each other. That's how they're talking to each other. That may be saying, say, hey, I need to buy some stock. Anyone have any? Something like that. I don't know what the hell they're saying. But no one makes markets in a stock like that. Same thing in GTII, 22.10 to 23.85. The 22 cents is the number. The extra numbers are the shorts making markets. They think we haven't figured it out yet, William.
Well, I might not have. You have.
I'm tired of talking about it. So it's so. I'm telling you, you guys don't realize the people on the other side of these trades are complete morons.
You wouldn't hire
Morons.
these people to be your lawyer,
They
doctor.
couldn't get a job. They couldn't get a job in a brokerage firm if they tried. They couldn't pass a test.
They probably couldn't even be a bartender. They couldn't remember 3 drinks in a row. They really are lugheads.
They all are. That's exactly what they are. I mean, look at Jeff Easton. He traded Yahoo calls and puts, and he's a genius. And everyone said, let's give him $100 million. He's so smart. Oh my God, I never heard of anybody just trading Yahoo. What a model. This guy's unbelievable. Whoever thought you could do that?
Sorry for coughing.
Listen, we're right now we're in a lull in the naked short selling world while we wait for MMTLP, right? So ZJYL popped up as a new candidate. I didn't buy it. So I basically tell people I'm following it for one reason, because there's a forward split. You're getting an education. And I just want to let you know, over the weekend, I spoke to one of our good shareholders who I met in DC, Todd, I'll just say his name, a great guy. And I'm going to read you exactly what he said to me, because I want people to understand this. Give me 1 second while I look for his message.
So while he's looking, not legal advice. Can you post that proof can be circumstantial evidence for this cool bird? Anyway.
All right. So this is from a shareholder. I won't tell you his occupation, but he is as far away from Wall Street or Fraud Street as possible. All right.
But he flies Boeing jets. That's pretty. Oh, anyway.
That's pretty good, right? So anyway, this is what this guy, we trust him with our lives, this gentleman. He said he bought 10 shares of ZJYL when we started talking about it at 126. He sold 5 at 238. He's 100% off the table, and he has 5 shares left.
For free.
He says for free.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he wrote back, thanks for the education. And that's just a different way of playing the market if you're not Fidelity Management, where you have unlimited funds. When we have limited funds, that's how you play the game. That's how I play the game, with limited funds. And
or you don't want to take losses. Do you think MMTLP will be resolved this year?
Yes. Do you actually think this is going to continue with the senators? It's going to get stronger. I posted the information to people in MMTLP about Robert, Oscar, Tom, Root, to give to Jim Jordan, who's from Ohio. It's the biggest disaster in the equity market. It was a $7 billion market cap. The whole company is worth $120 million, I think, right now. Biggest criminal activity. It was naked shorted down. How do I know it? Because I was called about it. And let me just see. The market cap is $111 million from $7 billion.
Which one?
Robert, Oscar, Tom.
Yeah, Root. Yep.
It was my friend bought 200,000 shares in the IPO. I'll say it, $25. The stock was getting destroyed. He called me up because he knew that's what I followed. And I told him exactly what was going on. And my friend was as close as you can get. He was maybe 2 inches from Warren Buffett. Okay. He has Warren Buffett and Bill Gates on his speed dial when it comes to the equity markets. But he called me and I told him what was going on. And he reported it to management. Stock was $14, and they stood there like the Statue of Liberty. Stock went to $1. They did the reverse because they were getting kicked off of NASDAQ. It's the playbook, remember? Reversed it back to 25, and they drove it back down, and the stock is now 7. That's after the reverse to 25. So think about this insurance company. They didn't make bowling balls. They didn't make batteries for Teslas. An insurance company destroyed.
What's your opinion? I'll read this out. How the heck does the SEC not respond to congressional inquiry, especially when over 74 members signed a letter demanding it? What does Ham think?
First of all, that's 100 now. That guy Dan Fizz,
Don Fizz,
he's
he's got it up.
He's still down there running around. You know,
he's working hard.
I haven't met the gentleman. I wish I had the time to get down there and go side by side with him and see how he operates. I just haven't had the time. But the people in MMTLP have, had enough. They got together and they did whatever they can. And then, you know what? They're going to make it happen.
Yeah.
We exposed it, but our shareholder base is different than MMTLP because our stocks were trading and you can always quit and, run away and not be involved in it and stay, I see people all the time saying, oh, I'm going to get out of the equity market soon. I had enough. And, when GTI ran, William, and Finger Motion ran a long time ago, a lot of people I talked to, I've never heard from again. What did they do? Their fight on the front line, which was, some of them were tremendous fighters. And they packed up and they moved along. And they said, you know what? It's too consuming. It's ruining my life. And they moved on. Never heard from them again. These are people I spoke to 5 times a week. Some people helped us with, making the signs for the trucks. And they just quit. I can't blame them. They have families. They're going to move on. But this is what the SEC, it does. Time is a killer of all deals. For those who have never heard that saying, that is a very famous Wall Street saying. Time is a killer of all deals. And
my grandmother used to say, time wounds all heals.
That's what the SEC says. We don't say that. Time is a killer for us because it just keeps dragging it out. And people, one by one, someone passes away. I have to sell my stock. My kids got to go to college. I got to buy a car. I invested $50,000. You know what? Let me get out. I lose 20, and I have 30 left, and I can do something. That's the killer. And that's how the naked shorts win, because people, it is about money. And we unite over one thing, a cause, but they know that money will change our lives. And that's what we quit because of that.
Yeah. And they don't want the power of a big slug of money rolling to the next deal either.
Well, that's what they're definitely afraid of.
ZJYL, is it better to buy now or after the split happens? And I'll answer my answer to it. Let's use $300 as the breakout. Who knows? I think it's easier to break out from $15 than $300. So I would buy now instead of waiting if you believe there's a chance for a squeeze. It's speculative.
If you're gonna buy 2 shares, you buy one now and you bid for one in case they do a little bear raid.
That's a good point.
And that, it's this way you can be a buyer on the dip. And if you don't get a chance to buy the other one, which I hope you don't, okay, and it goes, you have 1 share, you'll have 20. You get 20 for free.
Yeah.
So you're in the game anyway. I mean, that's the way to do it. Listen, look at it as an education. This is a tremendous education that you won't even get from Harvard. All right, you're getting a Harvard business education on a front line of a trading desk. We all know reverse in the stock is deadly. How do we know that? I just explained to you en route. You can go look yourself. Look at the timelines. You can see it yourself. It is deadly. And this is the opposite. This is a forward split. Forward split. Those were reverses.
Yeah.
So you can see it yourself. And
Um,
now you're learning it and seeing it in real time. Where I haven't been involved in a forward split, so this is like a rare occurrence. And you get to see it live.
Augustin is asking, do you think after the forward split that ZJYL could go back to 200 or 300 a share after the forward split? So from $15 to 300, could that happen? My answer is yes, it could. I don't know what yours is.
Yes. I'm hearing numbers that it can go back to 1,000.
What does Ham think? Oh, sorry. What does Ham make a big deal out of pickleball? That's from Not Legal Advice, and it doesn't quite. Why does Ham make a big deal out of pickleball? It must be why.
Oh, he's using the pickle. He's trying to drag the pickle into it.
You know, that's when I knew I didn't want a pickle. I just wanted to ride my motorcycle.
I played yesterday morning, William, and it was chilly out, maybe 45. It was sunny. It was very nice. I hit a guy who's very, 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 very good player. I hit him so hard in the hand. He was shaking his hand, and he stopped playing. That's how hard I hit the guy.
I wouldn't stand at the net while you're playing.
Yeah,
I would be like Danielle Medvedev. I'd be standing 40 inches behind the back line.
That's what I play back. And if anyone does play pickleball, if you're older, if you're just learning how to play, everyone tells you to go to that line and stand. They call it the kitchen. You got to run up to the line. You're allowed to go up to the line. And basically, you're just running into the firing squad because, you know, the people on the other side can just hit you. I mean, you have to be very quick not to get hit. And I look at it saying, okay, when you run the line and someone hits it over your head, most people cannot run backwards fast. The only people that can do that are defensive backs in football, right, William?
Right, I guess.
They're paid to run backwards faster. So I say to everyone, why would you play at the line? You run faster forward than backwards. So watch the people hit the ball. You can hit your shot. You can see what they're going to hit back, and you can determine whether you're going to the line.
Is there a no man's land in?
That's it. Yeah, it's two. They call it 2 feet behind that line, but I don't believe that. I think they just tried to teach everyone the same stupid thing, and I think it's the wrong thing to do. Anyway,
the Royals just signed Bobby Witt to an 11-year contract.
What was he? 12 years old?
Oh, no, that's a long contract. David is asking if there's 10 million of ZJYL that are naked shorted, and we go 20 times that. Does that mean there will be 200 million naked shorted?
I'm not a math guy, but I'm going to venture a guess and say yes.
Sorry, I just sneezed. I tried not to make any noise, and I made more noise than I ever have before.
So you became a loud sneezer as you grow older.
And I was trying to hold it in, and I couldn't. Maybe I'm just...
No, you're not supposed to hold it in, they say. Never hold it in.
Oh, Kitties Never Die says ZJYL is conforming to technical analysis. It's testing support at the 0.886 Fibonacci. Maybe. Miles is asking, isn't there a Chinese billionaire that wants to squeeze ZJYL?
Well, you want to know something that's interesting?
Yeah.
How do you know they're not here?
Yeah, how do you know there's not?
It's the stock is levitating at this level, not because they're waiting for us to buy 2 shares. There's no one here that is going to change the destiny of the stock buying 2, 10, or 100 shares? Nobody. This stock has been shorted below $20. The short squeeze trigger number is 20. That means their average price on all these sales is below 20. It may be 23 now, moving higher with the stock trading up here, but it's going to go up very, very small for a long time. It'd have to trade at 300 for a year before that number gets up to 200, I guess.
Vincent is asking, Kit Kitteridge points out that we have unlimited data plans in the United States. In China, you have to buy minutes. You top up.
You have to buy minutes. You top up. It's called top up. You want your phone to work? You got to go pay. Where do you buy the minutes from? You buy them from Finger Motion. Finger Motion buys them for 99 cents and they sell it to you for $1. That's the spread. That's it. Finger Motion gets rewarded like a toll booth. Think of it as a toll booth. How many toll booths go out of business? Does anyone know? Does anyone see one go out of business? If you go to the Verrazano Bridge in Brooklyn, that bridge, I think the toll now is $27 for those who don't live in New York. To go over the bridge is $27. That bridge was built and they said they were going to put the tolls there just so it can cover the cost of the bridge. Well, I don't know how many years the bridge has been there now. And I'm old enough to remember the tolls when they were 50 cents to $1 to $2 to 20. Now it's 20 something dollars. And that bridge now supports, I'm told, the MTA. It supports the subways. My friend's dad was in charge of the Triborough Bridge and Tunnel before he passed away. He's the guy who invented Easy Pass, my friend's dad, back in the day. But so we understood it a lot. And that toll booth still exists. It's funny how it's always up. Toll booths are always in business. Finger Motion has become a toll booth. And I think that's something that we may not think it is glorious, but around that toll booth now, they're adding all the glorious stuff. Now they have data they can sell, right? Now they have text messaging they're selling. Now they're tied to, when people buy new cell phones, they're tied to what? Insurance. They don't spend any money. They're not building anything. They're just taking the data and reselling it. Snowflake is a data provider in the US. It's a $70 billion company.
Yeah, that's right.
When this company, if you do 70 billion, you just make it. Finger Motion has access to more people than Snowflake does. And that's a $70 billion company. How big is the population? It's 5 times bigger in China. I'm not gonna make crazy assumptions, but if Snowflake is a $70 billion, multiply that times 4. Once this company, so you have to look at the growth. Where do you think everyone's buying Tesla? Because everyone's going to buy a Tesla. That's what they're selling people, right?
Oh my gosh. King Charles is diagnosed with cancer.
Right. Well, look at that. Even a king can get it.
Yeah, but just short the treatments. Just short the treatments. They don't care. They just don't care. But I don't think they can take their money to heaven. Gretchen points out she saw a video a few months ago about Timothy Yates, 4 proteges who shared how much money they've made over the past few years. They made millions. She didn't connect that video with there being naked shorts. So that's interesting.
Oh, they're the best stock pickers in the world. If all she has to say to them, hey, can you show me the time length of those trades? Oh, we sold it at 10:30 in the morning. They put out the fake report. We covered it at 10:32. That's how we made millions. They're part of a crime family. That's how you make money.
Does Ham own, or has he looked at LQR? The CEO is doing a 50% share dividend, non-dilutive, after he's done some buybacks. seems to be fighting for investors.
What price is the stock? I don't know anything about
I
it.
don't know anything about LQR. I can look it up, but I don't know anything.
What price is? Just give me the price.
I'm looking. Relax.
Oh my God, you're like molasses.
284, 286 to 290. Low on the year 260. No, sorry, low on the year 95 and high on the year 435.
All right, so the company 435. That means the company has already been through the ringer. That means they've been killed and reversed already, maybe once or twice.
Yeah.
I don't know how many times.
He's
When you see those high numbers, that means they've been reversed already, slaughtered.
Yeah, and he's fighting back, but it's no avail. Once you have a bad mortgage on your house, you just got to get rid of that mortgage, and it's impossible with these companies. Okay. Should you wait to sell after the forward split 20 to 1 to now, or should you sell some now before the split?
The only advice I can give you on when to sell is when they're buying, when the stock's running. We always say when the ducks are quacking, you feed them, right? Because when they're not hungry, there's no food. No one's gonna eat the food. That's the theory, right? So finger motion. ZJYL running towards 300. You could sell some, and then when it pulls back, you can buy it. That's when the ducks are quacking. It's running. You sell it to them when they want to buy it, and when they don't want it is when you buy it. That's my theory. I sell it when they want it, and I buy it when they don't. I bought finger motion for my daughter the other day at 230, 231, 230, something like that, 226 to 230, something like that.
So Not Legal Advice says go into any local law library and look for any treatise on evidence, and you will see circumstantial evidence discussion. For example, Holland versus the United States, 348 U.S. 121, Your Honor, your offer. Absent a subpoena, no enforceable way to press FINRA or the SEC, he says.
He said there's no way to enforce the SEC or FINRA?
Right, without a subpoena.
Right. Well, I told the people in MMTLP, get the political people to go after Charles Schwab and the brokerage firms that own the stock. Use my theory that we just want to know what Charles Schwab owns. Go after them. We don't need FINRA. Go after Charles Schwab. Go after the brokerage firms. How many shares do you own? Subpoena them. Charles Schwab will give you the number, and then you can say, okay, Charles Schwab owns 10 million shares. At the DTC, there's 1 million for Charles Schwab. Voila, Charles Schwab has 9 million counterfeit shares. Pretty easy. Forget FINRA, forget the SEC, go around it that way.
So this gentleman thinks GTII has earnings next week. So that's interesting. Not Legal Advice points out that one of the splits Tesla did, which I think was a forward split, was to allow employees to buy more stock. Lower prices allows, at least emotionally, allows people to buy more.
Yeah, listen, companies forward split the stock to do one thing. Take the volatility out of stock. Like NVIDIA, I could see them doing eventually, right? NVIDIA, see Costco doing it, things like that. UNH, all these stocks are $500. People aren't buying $500 stocks, and they get tired of doing it because it's very dangerous. The volatility is too great. But if you do a forward split and it goes down to $50, people don't realize there's more shares in the company because people don't trade it all day long. And the stock will be a slow grind like IBM and all these other ones over the year. They all have the same patterns.
So this question, I don't think this is a shill. I think it's a legitimate question. Is it possible two market makers traded the same million shorts back and forth 10 times, which made it look like 10 million are short. And maybe to the casual observer,
They did that back and forth so that whoever gets stuck with the million shares short eventually gets destroyed. That's what they did. You take the hot potato. No, it's your turn. I don't want it anymore. You
yeah,
got
but
it.
does
Get it out
that,
of here.
his question is, does that reduce the 10 million to 1 million that you've
If
heard?
it's 1 million, listen, if it's 1 million, 10 million, 5 million, you can see that they can't cover. The stock is at 200 plus because they can't cover. And nobody else wants to come out here and short it because if they're wrong, they want to be short 20 times more and get killed. So everyone's like saying, screw you. There'll be a head that pop off. Someone will lose a lot of money, or they're in the process of losing a lot of money. We'll see it sooner or later. It's very difficult. All right, people understand. If you understand it, that it's very difficult to sit here and jump on the sword and commit harry-carry, as they say, right? Commit suicide. So a short seller sitting here, he's trying to borrow money.
Is Harry
to hold
Carey
his-
the announcer for the Chicago Cubs?
He died too. Anyway, it's very difficult to kill yourself, is what I'm trying to say. Committing suicide is very difficult to do. So if you're the short seller, you're sitting here running back and forth. Is there any way I can keep doing this? Can I open up a new account? Can I try this? Can I write a negative story? Can I hire that guy who wrote the fake story, called the SEC and FINRA up? Hurry up, this company's a fraud. I'm running, hurry up, anything. That's what they're trying. That's desperation. But the clock is ticking, 20 to 1 is coming. Their margin's gonna go up 20-fold.
Oh boy, California is hit by devastating mudslides, 500,000 homes without power under flash flood warnings. A bomb cyclone is set to drench LA for 24 hours. I hope they don't also have an earthquake at that time. Ugh.
So, William, everyone looks at these things and you say, oh my goodness, we all know it's bad, right? So
Yeah.
do you buy the insurance companies or do you sell the insurance companies that cover California?
Well, I think it's too late to sell them.
So what did they do? They usually buy them because the insurance companies are going to do one thing. What do you think they do? On all disasters,
They're just going to say act of God.
And they raise the prices on insurance for you.
What I would do is put orders to buy stock under the market and hope to buy more. Not that I'm a big Rockefeller or anything.
And what? You took an insurance? I'm just trying to talk to you about the stock market in general. I watched disasters play out a long time where we shorted the insurance stocks and they're going to get killed because everyone's going to have claims, whether it was a hurricane, I can't remember what it was. And they always went up. We're like, how could this be possible? They're losing all kinds of money. They just raised the rates. That's what they do.
Well, yeah, exactly. And stocks used to be anyway, you discount future information to now. So the loss has already happened. They just start pricing it based on future earnings. So you raise rates, they'll be okay. But anyway,
Right. So people that want to learn how to trade, put up a group of insurance stocks and see how they act and see the news that was related to the disaster in California and see how they react. See if they rate. You'll see, I guarantee you'll see a story. They're going to raise the rates in California based on the, disaster. They get you back. That's how it works. But just watch it. This is something that I was trained to look for. And I tried to bet against them. They would go down just for a little bit. Then they go straight up. I'm like, how's this working? And then you see them raise the rates. And everyone says, oh, that's why. Because now they raise the rates, they make more money. Meanwhile, they just got their ass kicked. But it's good. And there was a story recently about all the hedge funds buying disaster bonds, right? There was a story about that. You could Google that. You could see that. It wasn't, maybe that's 10 days old, that story. Wall Street's about being ahead of the curve. That's what it's about.
the Duck of Sussex is going to fly to see his father. Does anyone believe the SEC or FINRA couldn't get the share counts just by asking US and foreign companies? That's a question I want to ask you. Everyone, it's come up several times today. Can't they just move the shorts offshore and then the shorts don't exist? What I think that misunderstands is the trades exist in the United States. Wherever they move anything, it doesn't change the fact that they haven't closed out their position in the United States. I don't know. What, am I wrong on that?
Again, if they're going to hide the positions like we think they are, the brokerage firms, we own the stocks, right?
Right.
Just count the longs. It's pretty easy.
Yeah.
Stop thinking you're going to chase criminals looking for their positions offshore. We're looking for them on this side, which is what? How many people own the stock?
No, that's what Pedro Philly put up. Just count the longs. I mean,
That's exactly what I'm saying.
exactly.
I've always said that. Screw the regulators. You want to lie to us? Subpoena the brokerage firms. What's the brokerage going to serve? We're not the government. They can't say anything, right? Go after everyone that's along the stock. Whoever's in charge of MMTLP, John Bird or whatever. Get the people in DC to go after the brokerage firms. So we went from 250 bid. It's now, 261 to 272.57. I would assume that the 272.57 means that's not me bidding. That's what they're saying. 261 bid is probably a retail person trying to buy 200 shares, or somebody trying to buy 200 shares.
Oh, and the communication is, I haven't given up on our little scheme to defraud everyone.
No, I think it's the 57, the 272.57 offer is saying to the other shorts, that isn't me trying to bid. That's not me.
Right.
That's what he's saying.
Don't worry, I'm not breaking ranks.
Right. That's the problem. It was a movie. What was that movie, William? They're all in the garage with Harvey Keitel.
Oh, Reservoir Dogs?
And they all shoot each other?
Yeah. Oh, my God.
That's what the short sellers are going to do here.
Oh, my gosh.
If there's 5 of them, let's say there's 3 of them. They're looking at each other and they're saying, William, are you buying? William's standing with his finger on the buy button. That's not me. Not me. You know, they all lie to each other. Because whoever covers first gets the best price, correct?
All right. That's exactly right.
There
And
you
gets
go.
to walk
Right.
away without any
Without being
penalties.
bludgeoned to death. That's exactly right. And you sit there and you say, come on, that's bullshit. Really? I watched it happen many times. I've been in a guy's office where I watched him calling his friends up, a hedge fund who was one of my clients, screaming at him, I know you're fucking covering. I hear you gave blank an order. And you motherfucker, I've heard that many times. Because they shorted it together and it didn't work. And now they're all in a panic trying to cover. And they check on each other all the time. That's why that when you get a stock like GTII in finger motion, it's very different. Is everyone paying attention to what I just described to you? Finger motion and GTI have one short seller. We need those guys to jump on the sword and kill themselves. ZJYL may have 10 or 15 short sellers, and they'll just basically kill each other. It's very different when one that's going to collapse He's just going to go to jail, walk away from the trades. These guys are fighting for survival, and they don't trust each other. They're all not going to stand there in front of the firing squad and take the bullet. So if William went to the doctor today, they're going to say, "Ah, fuck it. William's at the doctor. Let's just fucking start covering and bury that fucking guy." That's what they say. And that's the language they use, by the way. I'm not making it up. I've heard that language, just like I described. Because they don't want to hurt each other. They don't want the trust to be with each other because they all talk about ideas together. But when an idea goes sour, then it turns into ugly. Anything else, William? Shoot.
What's the next ZJYL?
Well, I think it's finger motion. I think that GDC is going to go next. George, David, Charlie, only because the same people have been buying both of those things. But I'm a finger motion and GTI guy. But I bought some GDC, and obviously I'm upside down in it. But there's no more selling in it, so when it turns, it turns.
It can market makers literally trade shares with no money exchange with subsidiaries and offshore LLCs. Do they swap stock all the time?
I think you mean wash trades. Is that what you mean?
I guess that's what he means. Yeah.
Yes, they do it all the time. They hit the bid, they go on the offer, they do it to create volume, the illusion of selling. They do all these tricks. But it's not free. Everything on Wall Street costs money. When you order a steak, it's $58, and you want to get a potato, you got to pay for it. That's the side dish, correct?
Right.
Go to a fancy steakhouse. They don't give you a steak, potatoes and spinach and everything else with it. You got to pay for everything. If you want to drink something, you got to pay. That's how it is. Everything on Wall Street costs money. You're going to wash trades back and forth, we're going to charge you. All right. You're going to do anything, you got to pay. The prime broker's always got his hand out. You want to borrow stock, you got to pay. You got to do this, you got to pay. If you want us to cover for you got to pay. Everything. There's a lot of hands feeding off of these criminals. And that's why you get interactive brokers, Jeffries. They're not making money trading. You know how hard it is to trade and win every day? Every IPO they do is a bust. Who's doing these deals? Nobody. They don't hold on to anything. Aegis Capital, nothing. Someone put a story up about B. Riley. I think it was Mark Bazile. They're going after them. B. Riley, a brokerage firm, whatever it is. All their deals are flops. The investors are going after them. They all do the same thing.
But no one's interested at the rate. It doesn't raise any curiosity from the SROs. Your friend is asking you, I would say for the umpteenth time, and this time I will ask you, normally I ignore it. He's asking all of us to demand a notarized statement from our brokers.
That we own real stock.
Right. And not counterfeit stock created by the brokerage house.
Well, Mr. Rosenberg, this is how it works. You worked at a brokerage firm. We all worked at brokerage firms. They will say yes, right? If they won't, number one, they won't give you the letter. And if you break their balls, they kick you out. Now, what do you want to do? So why would you bother to do that? This is above their head. This is above your head.
Southern California, 6 inches of rain so far, according to Not Legal Advice. And Don Giovanni says, in my community, they just install a pickleball court and all the old fogies play all day, and the sound drives me nuts.
I'm sure it does.
Well, they used to have to listen to you when you were kids in their community making noise. So
That's true.
My
All these
20,
all these old fucks making noise all day. I got it. And it makes a terrible. The noise is much louder when it's cold out. The ball sounds like a rock.
there's just no perfect place to live. Except for certain parts of New Jersey. Well, I think we've run out of questions. Maybe run out of
Listen, it's a quiet day. You make the days like this. You find stocks that you want to take a shot on. You think the market's going to sell off some more, and you look at it and say, okay, instead of buying 1,000 shares, I'll buy 250 today, maybe 250 tomorrow. You break it down, do 33% each day, and you can leg into a trade. That's what we call legging into a trade. That means you're buying a little at a time. And if you're lucky enough to get something that takes off and explodes.
Kristen Shaughnessy just posted your primer on DTC and musical chairs. Your little chart. Goldman Sachs, Morgan Stanley, JP.
Can I ask a question to everybody? I'm following a stock, and I told you about it, William, that I think is my friend Rob told you about it. That new technology for the police, law enforcement. And if you look at it, WRAP. Did that stock open at 7 today? Is that legitimate?
That's what it says. Closed at 4:08, opened at 7:01.
And it's back to 4.
And it's 3, 4, 10, 5.
I got to check on that. That's pretty interesting. People, if you want to look at this company is just like Taser. Steve Rosenberg knows all about Taser. He knew the CEO, I believe. Anyway, Taser was a major short squeeze back in the day, but they made a Taser, and everyone wrote negative stories about it, that it's hurting people. We're worried about people getting shot by the police, so they gave them a Taser, and people said, "Well, they're tasering us now." The criminals are complaining that they're being tasered for being a criminal. Now they have this device where they shoot it and it wraps you up. It's sort of like out of a movie. I saw the video. You shoot it, goes bang, and all of a sudden it's lightning quick, and it just goes around your legs and you can't move. It wraps you up. So is this the future for law enforcement? I think I've seen it in the movie The Fifth Element. If anyone ever seen that movie,
Yeah, with Bruce Willis and
Willis. Yeah, I think they used
and that redhead.
Yeah, that was what's her name?
She's not always redhead. She's what's her name? She was
Brockovich or
beautiful.
someone. Yeah, but I'm saying I think I saw it in that movie, but it was interesting. My friend was telling me about this thing, saying the police departments are starting to order it, and I don't know if it went to 7. I just happened to click on it. I just check quotes all the time. If you don't check and you go through your quotes and your rotation, it's like going through your playbook. You got to see what's going on. But that's the way to look at things. You got to keep moving fast in this game. You got to keep memorize where things going. I don't own WRAP, but if it just jumped to 7, I'm going to try to figure out why it went up, why it sold off, and you know what? Maybe it's time to buy it because it'll rally back up. Because if people sold it short at 7, they're going to try to cover. I don't know anything about it, so I'm going to try to find some answers on it for myself. But that's what you got to do. You got to look at things like that.
Yeah.
And ZJYL is the same. Just look at it this way. Everyone on this call, which I hope you understanding like Todd did, he figured it out how to trade now. He can go on. He owns shares for free.
Yeah.
If you're short, and you're going to be short 20 times more in the next couple of days, it's coming. The company approved it. What do you do?
Mila Jovovich was her name. Yeah. Mila Jovovich.
Millie.
Mila Jovovich. Yeah, Millie.
Yeah, she's beautiful. Anyway, Why? What you have to just look at it and you say you want to be the short seller. You don't have to be a naked short seller. You want to be the short seller. You can go out here and short the stock at 270, knock yourself out. Learn how to trade, paper trade, people. Get a pad out and say, hey, you know what? I'm going to be a short seller. Let me see how I do. You just sold 1,000 shares at 270 and see what happens in the next few days as a short seller. Live the life as a short seller. See how they think. I mean, for Christ's sake, you're playing for free. Why not take a shot? See what it looks like, right? And that's how you learn to trade. See if you can become a short seller. See how difficult it is, knowing that, in a few days you could be short, not 1,000 shares, you could be short 20,000. Now your position is grown. Think about that. I look at finger motions down 11 cents every day. It's always down. Never an up day. It was up for a few minutes and it goes straight back down.
Yeah.
All right, people, it's a very quiet day.
Quiet
You're
day.
looking at, we're watching. I'll recap everything before I sign off. GTII, same nonsense. We know the shorts here. I posted tons of information about GTII. Tons of it. I don't know what to say anymore. Where is the government? I posted Alpines, the LLCs, the Kramers, the LLCs, the shorts, everything about it. It's right there. How the government, not me, the government has not even questioned anybody about that. I think we made enough noise to at least warrant someone to look at it and say, you guys are fucking crazy. Go away. We guarantee there's no naked shorts. They should say something, right? We put the truck there 13 times. Right?
Right.
We even put this up there. I'm going to post it on Twitter for everybody again. Give me 1 second. I'm usually pretty quick at this. I think I am. Oh, it's not there. I forgot where I put it here. Hold on a second. Take it easy, William. Stop pressing me. I can't move that fast. Oh, is that your line? Relax. That's it. Yeah, anybody looking on Twitter, I'm just going to post a GTI, one of my favorite GTI posts. And here it is. This was done. This was only April 2023. I just put GTII says fork you. We got the middle finger. That was a year ago. I mean, what else can I say? It's just crazy. So anyway, there's nothing more I can say there. All right. I don't have any more money to spread around. I can't do anything. People say, why don't I tell people to buy it? Because I have no information, or do I see? I think MMTLP is the key right now. MMTLP will light this thing up like no tomorrow. And I think MMTLP is coming to a head shortly. That's what I could say there. Finger motion. You saw the CEO. William interviewed the CEO. If you think it's a shitty company, so be it. I think it's a good company. That's my opinion. I think William has the same type of feeling about it.
Yeah, I think I said it earlier. I think if you're willing to wait, which look at it as a 1-2 year, maybe longer hold, your downside is upside. And while you're waiting, you have the potential for a short squeeze.
Right.
That's
The damage has been done by the criminals already. They attacked it, beat it up, fake reports, you name it. That's the damage. They did that already.
Yeah.
If you did, and you unfortunately paid higher, maybe you could wait, hold your breath, and then find the spot where you can average down. But to me, it looks like it's running out of steam. And the company's issuing a special dividend soon. We should get the details on that shortly. Of course, people are trying to sell it down because it's issuing a special dividend. That's always a negative. Anytime a company gives you something that's negative, hurry up, they're giving us something, sell more. All they're trying to do is get people to sell the stock, but we traded 105,000 shares. And I guess I'll tell you right now, on a shitty day like this, 70,000 at a 105 has got to be phony. All right, because there's no one sitting here in a rush to sell. So I didn't see it, but I could, just based on the trading, I can tell you it's probably that's a fact. So you got the finger motion, you know there's events coming up. The company's moved all their revenue into this quarter. The numbers should be huge going forward. Do your own homework. The CEO's right there. Just watch it yourself. ZJYL, the cha-cha back and forth between 250 and 300. 20 to 1 is on the way. If you're nervous, sell half of your position. If you want to get in, you buy half, bid for half. This way you can be part of it. You know, you could buy one share for $260, and it's sort of like a college education in real time. I think that GDC, which I got in early, I paid $380 for it. I think that that's the next spot that's going to go. So if you got fresh money, you're looking for this fresh idea that no one knows anything about, that may be the next place to go. With this stock, I think had big runs years ago. I'm not even sure. I can't remember. And I'm looking into that RWRAP. Why it says $7 is the opening. I don't know anything about it, but I don't know how it went up and back down. If that's true, I'll try to get an answer on that. But it's interesting technology. Go look on it. If you're looking for things to buy for the future, you can do your own research on it. My friend is an IR guy for them, and he told me about it, so I've been following it. That's the only reason I'm following it. And that's all I got, William.
Yeah. Does the shorts VWAP, I guess right now is around $20, $23. Does that change after the split?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, it'll change it. Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
No, wait, you want to know something? I have to figure out how you calculate that. It's a good question. You know what? I have to figure out how you calculate it.
It wouldn't be just automatically reduced, divided by 20?
Well, it's the same price. I mean, I don't know. And that doesn't make the VWAP $1. I'm just trying to think how it. Let me figure it out. Let me think about it.
All right.
I'm stumping myself right now. You stumped the swami.
SR 7531, you stumped the hamster.
You stumped me. I can't figure it out right now. Actually, I'm looking at my sandwich. I want to go eat it.
All right, go eat. I'm going to go to lunch too. It's 2 o'clock.
Go take a lunch, and I'll call you later. Take a break.
All right. Thanks, Sam. Bye.
Yeah.
Call ended.
All right, everyone. I'm going to sign off quicker than you see what this gentleman says. Yeah, Fifth Element was good with Gary Oldham. He's always good. I'm going to sign off quickly because I'm going to go get lunch, and it looks like a reasonable day out there. It might be nice to go outside and eat. Thank you to everybody for listening in. I will reach out to Not Legal Advice or Ace or Busy or somebody, because one, I don't know how to monetize my channel, and two, my number of users never goes up. I guess I'm just the ugly duckling in our community of what is called creators. I'm not going to get a ham sandwich, but I might get I don't know about that, Pharaoh. I think these stocks, as time goes on, I think the system gets the squeezes under control. I don't think Univest has shown that they want to do anything out of the ordinary with Finger yet. But Pharaoh, they're not going to tell us. They're not going to tell us what they intend to do. Now, I believe that the shelf registration, which specifically named Univest, is still in play. But these are investment bankers and bureaucrats and CEOs, and they take their sweet ass time, lawyers, and they're going to get it right before they make their final material announcement on whatever they may or may not be working on. So don't count on Univest. Just, unfortunately, this is a pot of water that's boiling, and it's not going to boil while you watch it. It's paint drying. It's not going to dry while you watch it. It's grass growing. It's not going to grow while you watch it. It's the little redheaded girl going to call you back. She's not going to call you back while you watch your phone. Stop worrying it to death. At some point, I think there's going to be a major moving finger, but I think we're beyond the point where there's going to be all this excitement that's going to boom, run it. I think we have to build that up again. I don't think the Univest deal will make it run up, if there is a Univest deal. Hey, Lazy. Hey, Sideshow Bob. Count on your fingers or your toes. That's what you should do. Count on your toes if you can reach them. It never ends. The bells, the bells, the bells. All right. So I'm going to hang up. I'm going to wish everyone peace, love, and happiness. Say a prayer for Jenny L. Say a prayer for the children around the world. And I guess we should say a prayer for King Charles. And we'll catch you tomorrow. Thank you for joining in. Ciao.